My name is Abby James Witherspoon. I play Sammy in Monster Summer, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So I am so excited to be joined by today's guests. Today we're going to be talking about the upcoming film Monster Summer. She plays Sammy herself, Abby James Witherspoon. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to
You're
meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. And yeah, no problem at all. Like I said, before we jumped on, I was really looking forward to the film. I grew up on these kind of movies, in like the 90s with Goosebumps and things like that. So something that I'm really looking forward to. As far as just, the movie and your character in general, can you tell us a little bit about, the character of Sammy that you play in the film and kind of where is she at when we meet her in the movie?
Yeah, of course. So Sammy is definitely a tomboy for sure. She is on the baseball team with her group of friends. And yeah, they live on an island. She's really obsessed with movies. She's a movie buff
Oh,
and
perfect.
always talking about it. She's very sarcastic and just fun and not too serious. Yeah.
Okay, great, great. Well, I can already tell she's going to be like probably my favorite character in the film then if she's a big like movie buff. I would naturally always, connect with those characters. So when you first came across this project and this character, what had you most excited about, getting to be a part of this project and then getting to jump into the mindset and play this character, Sammy?
Well, I thought it was really fun when I first read the audition sides for this character because I've never played a character that's a little bit more just like tomboy. I've always kind of done girly girls. And so I thought that was going to be really fun. And it really reminded me of movies that I've always loved growing up, like The Goonies, E.T., The Sandlot. It gave me that nostalgic vibe. And I felt like this movie would be that for a lot of people, that people would want to watch it over and over again every Halloween. So I was really excited to be a part of a movie like that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great too. I always have like my rotation of, films that I always have every fall where it's like have to watch these. It's not basically not fall and Halloween without watching these films. So it sounds like this is going to be one of those movies that people can add to their rotations, which is exciting.
Definitely. It really is one of those films that I think you could watch over and over again and always love.
It's David Henrie's directorial debut. Can you just talk about the experience of working with him and kind of what makes him stand out as a director for you?
Yeah, of course. David was the best director. I loved working with him so much. I was freaking out when I first met him on Zoom because I'm like, Wizards of Waverly Place, like this is literally crazy. I watched all the time when I was younger. And he is just so nice, so great in person. And I think the thing that really sets him apart from other directors is since he was a child actor and a young adult actor, and he still is an actor, he really knows how to communicate with not only kids and teens, but just actors in general. And he knows what type of direction is really helpful, what type of direction is not as helpful. And so he had a really great approach, and I always felt so comfortable trying out new things, asking him questions. And yeah, he just created a really great environment on set every day.
I was going to say that was something I was going to ask you about. Was this your first time in your career so far getting to work with someone who was like an actor prior to being like a director?
So, yes, I have worked with a director that acts currently and has acted, but not a child actor, I don't think, if
Yeah.
I'm remembering correctly. So it was a really interesting and unique experience.
Yeah, because they just have a different perspective where obviously where they were kind of in, like your shoes, like previously. So David, he describes the movie as an event Halloween film for families, and with the Halloween season here, we were kind of talking about what were those films for you kind of growing up, and what movies do you have to watch every fall and Halloween season?
I definitely think The Goonies, even though that's not technically like a Halloween movie, it gives me that vibe always. E.T. is like one of my favorite movies ever. I've already talked about it today, but I really loved that. And it was interesting while we were filming, we actually went back and I watched The Goonies again, to kind of get that banter and understand the banter between the characters in that film. I thought that that was like really important to try to hone in on with our characters in Monster Summer. So I definitely think The Goonies and E.T. are my favorite every year for Halloween.
I think for me, definitely, I mean, you got, Beetlejuice here. That's something that I always have to watch every year. Hocus Pocus, that's definitely on the
I
list.
love Hocus Pocus. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, that's one where it's like usually watch it like multiple times. And so I'm out on the East Coast. I'm about like 45 minutes to an hour away from Salem, Massachusetts. So
Wow.
they got to film some of like Hocus Pocus there. And, obviously you just got everything else with Halloween. So it's like have to go there every year just for, for the season.
That sounds amazing. I really need to go to Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah, if you've never been, definitely go. The only thing, just if you go like October, it's always nuts. So try
I
and go
bet.
like during the week or just go earlier in the month because the closer you get to Halloween, there's so many people. Like you're basically walking like shoulder to shoulder, it feels like.
I could definitely see that being the case. I
Yeah, but
just read The Crucible in school last year, so I'm like, gotta go.
yeah, there's obviously a lot of, history there as well. This was kind of from what I was looking at, this was like your first major production in the horror, like spooky genre. So what was that experience getting to work like on a film like this? And what are just some of your favorite elements of working in this genre from this experience?
Well, I was really excited to do a horror movie because I love watching scary films. And so I was interested to see how that was going to work on set and acting it out, like spooky scenes. And
Yep.
I think the really like cool part about it is the way that they did a lot of the set dressing really put you in the world immediately. And I really was kind of scared and spooked out by it. And I can't give away too much at all, but there's some scary moments that were really cool to see play out. And I just love acting scared. So it was really fun.
And I feel like being on the actual like sets and stuff too, where you have stuff that you can actually react to it. It always helps you guys out where it's not necessarily it's like you have to pretend something's there. So I feel like that probably adds to it as well for you.
Definitely. It's a whole different experience from auditioning for something and being in a room like I am right now and just
Yep.
being like acting scared and having to imagine it to actually like being put into this world with incredible set dressing and costuming and all of that. It's really great.
And I love that you're like a horror fan too, because I always like to ask people, especially where it's like their first time being in the genre, like if you were a fan prior to going into it. So it sounds like you were, because sometimes, or I feel like a lot of times people will be like, oh no, like I'm actually not a horror fan at all. So you were kind of prior going into this movie.
Yes, I always like watching horror movies with a lot of times my friends. That's like our go-to. Let's watch a horror movie and be freaked out and
Yeah.
scared.
It's so much fun, and I mean, we're getting right to that, that time of the year. So I mean, we'll be watching plenty of them for sure. What was it? So I mean, you had an amazing cast here with this film. I mean, Mason Thames, you have Mel Gibson, Lorraine Bracco, Patrick from the Sandlot, which was really cool to see. What working with these individuals, and how does that kind of help you about your own performance when it comes to the film?
Well, like you're saying, the cast was just so incredible on this film. And when I first met Mason Thames on set, I hadn't seen the Black Phone yet, but I knew that he was in the Black Phone and had done like a horror project. And so he definitely knew how that worked and like being scared. And so I learned a lot from him and just got put into the world immediately when I was acting with him in scenes that were spookier. And working with Lorraine Bracco was probably one of the best experiences ever. I was on set with her only one day, and I had seen her work before, but then after working with her, I went back and watched Goodfellas again, and I'm just like, I can't believe I got to work with her. She's incredible. And on set, she was so nice to me. She's like, us girls have to stick together. And she was just the sweetest, the best person ever. And I always remember my experience with her on set. And Noah Cottrell, Julian Lerner, Lila Pate, they're all such incredible actors. Julian and I, we are always singing musical theater songs. He's a much better singer than me, but he always encouraged me to keep going. So I'm excited to see him soon so we can resume our theater singing.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, I'm sure having, actors like Mel and Lorraine too on set
Yes.
that just come from they have so much experience, in the movie industry. Did they either of them did they give you kind of any advice as far as just like moving forward in your career? Did you kind of talk, outside of, working just specifically on this movie or
Yeah, well, I think I learned a lot just from being around them and acting with them. Acting next to Mel Gibson was so incredible because he's just such a, like, he's done so much work. And so that was really cool just getting to observe the way that he goes about the scenes. Lorraine gave me great advice. She was like playing with my hair and stuff on set, and I was like, "You're the best." She was like a mom figure for the day for me. Um, and yeah, I can't think of anything like super specific, but she just always told me work with people who love you and are nice to you. And I'll always remember that.
I mean, that's some great advice, and I feel like probably some of the best learning experience is just getting, like you said, to kind of be there in the moment and just getting to see them, work and learn from them in person. So that's probably some of the best, experience that you can get right there.
It is. It truly is.
So, and how, as far as like, you and the rest of the group of the kids, how did you guys kind of develop the chemistry with each other? I know you said that you had went back to, you watched like the Goonies and stuff like that, but did you guys do any kind of activities, prior to, filming, or was there even, did you guys like hang out, in between like shooting scenes and stuff like that? How did you kind of develop that friendship between you guys?
Yeah, so we filmed in North Carolina for this show. So none of us were from there. We were in a small town called Southport, North Carolina, I believe.
Okay.
So there wasn't a lot going on in the town, but it's so cute and it's like a coastal town. So we hung out all the time. And it was during COVID, so we were definitely in a bubble of
Okay.
what we could do. But we were always doing fun activities, going to dinner. Julian Lerner kind of was the social guide for us. We went kayaking one weekend,
Oh, wow.
and I hate kayaking, but it was really fun with them. And it was definitely a friendship building activity. Julian did a lot of the kayaking for me because I don't like it. Um, but we were always hanging out, going to dinner, going to breakfast, going to the beach. And yeah, we just had so much fun. I also played Fortnite with them a bunch,
Oh, there you
and
go.
it was really fun.
Now, did you know any of them prior to going into this film, or is this kind of the first time that you guys all met?
This was the first time I met any of them. So I didn't know anyone that I worked with on this set. And so it was really fun. I was like, how's this gonna go? I'm the only girl with this group of boys until Lila came for a couple days. But they were so amazing and just like the best group of boys I could ever imagine working with. And I'm still friends with all of them and keep in touch with them. And I get to see them coming up this week. So I can't wait to see them again.
It's so cool when you get to, work on a project, especially where you've never met anybody, and then you guys develop that relationship and it carries on, well after the project. And hopefully we get to see you guys, work together, whether it's a movie or a series or something like that again in the future, because it sounds like you guys had a great time.
Yeah, I really hope so. And it's also crazy seeing people I worked on Monster Summer with all of a sudden become friends with people I worked on other projects with, like Mason Thames and Walker Scobell are now good friends. And I'm just like, this is crazy. It's such a small world, and I love running into all of them all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say such a small world, and now where Monster Summer is coming out right in the kind of the heart of spooky season. What are some of your favorite fall and Halloween traditions that you have to do every Halloween?
I always have to get a pumpkin spice chai latte from Starbucks. Those are so good. And I have one on my college campus. I have Starbucks on my college campus, so I'm going all the time,
There
every
you go.
day. Probably too much. And then I love going to Trader Joe's and shopping for fall snacks because they have the best. I just got these little pumpkin spice cookies and they are so addicting. Like I
Sounds
can't stop
delicious.
eating them. They're so good. I love getting fall candles. I can't have a candle right now though because I'm in a dorm room,
Uh,
fortunately. But when I go home, I'm going to be having a pumpkin candle. And yeah, I think just watching a lot of Halloween movies, like we already talked about. And when I'm in Nashville, the weather is really nice during fall. So going on fall walks is always fun.
oh yeah, I say it's beautiful just to see like all the foliage and stuff like that when it gets to that time of the year. It's starting to already starting to see a lot of the leaves turning and everything here. What are some of your, because I know you talked about some of like your movies like The Goonies and E.T. and stuff like that, where you're a big horror fan. I'm curious, like what are some of your favorite horror movies?
So I love The Conjuring. I think that movie's terrifying, but so good. The Black Phone. I'm talking about Mason's movie, but like literally one of my favorite Halloween scary movies. It's really good. And then I also love, wait, what was I about to say? I had one in mind.
The Black Phone too. I can't wait for that to come out.
Oh, I cannot wait for the Black Phone too. I just recently watched The Boy with my
Okay.
friends,
Yep.
and that movie's terrifying. The Blair Witch Project. I watched that with
Yes.
my friends.
Yep.
That one's great. Yeah, I think those are my like
Kind of
some of
some
the
of your
best
favorite
ones.
ones.
The
Yeah, I
Purge.
mean,
That's good too.
the Blair Witch Project, I can't believe that movie's turning 25 years old this year, which is just crazy because like I remember like so growing up, like when that movie came out, I was at a summer camp. I was like in scouts at the time, and I
Oh
just
my gosh.
remember all of the like the older counselors and stuff like that had made some of the stick people and had put them up in the woods and were saying that the Blair Witch or the Blair Witch was there. And I just remember, yeah, kids freaking out and stuff like that because back then everyone thought it was real like when the movie initially came out because the internet wasn't really a big thing back then, so
Yeah,
that was a fun experience, although maybe slightly terrifying at the same time.
that is a little cruel of those counselors. That is terrifying. I
But
cannot believe that.
yeah, it was something. And then yeah, I remember some kids being like freaked out for sure. I've ever since I was a little kid, I've been kind of like into horror, so I wasn't like as spooked out. But yeah, they're going to like a convention soon, so I'm excited to meet them. And
That's so cool.
must have just been a wild experience just with that whole thing when it came out. Everyone thinking it was kind of like real. But
Yeah,
I mean, those are
it's
some
crazy.
great choices that you have there. Why, so for this film Monster Summer, why was it important for you to be a part of a film like this where, families can go out, can everyone can go basically see this movie? Why did you feel it was important to be a part of a film like that?
Well, I think it's just really great to be a part of films that make people have fun, connect, get their whole family together to go watch a movie at the movie theater. I've always loved watching movies, especially with my dad and going to the movie theater with my dad. And it's always fun when there's a movie like this that kind of goes into a specific season. So you have like, you can get into the Halloween spirit while watching this movie, and that you could go to with your family, with your kids and go watch it. Like this is 1000% a movie that I would have been like begging my dad to take me to go watch when I was younger. So I thought that was really cool. And hopefully people can have experiences like that with their dads or moms or friends, their siblings as they're younger, older, any age, and go watch this movie and just go out of it being like, that was really fun. I laughed, I screamed, I got scared, and all of that.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, movies in general, I love just like going to, but horror films, there's just so much that you can do with them. Like you said, laughing, screaming, crying, maybe sometimes too, because, from being scared. Have you kind of thought about where this is like one of those films where it comes out, in the fall, it could potentially end up like one of those movies like a Hocus Pocus or something where it kind of goes into people's rotation every years and people are still talking about this like, 25 years later. Have you kind of thought about that at all or?
Definitely, I have. I'm really hoping that it will end up being a movie like that. And I think it will be. I've seen it once and I cannot wait to see it again because I loved it. And I think it's something that people will want to watch over and over again every Halloween season or even any time of year,
Yeah, I
maybe
say, hey,
even spring.
there's no wrong time to
Yeah,
watch scary movies.
holiday season,
Yep.
anytime.
Exactly. And to wrap things up for you, Abby, is there anything else that you would like to say just about, your experience on the film and where can fans keep up to date with your work, moving forward in the future?
Yeah, I think my experience on this film, I don't think, I know my experience on this film was just so incredible. I loved filming it. I love the cast. I love the crew. And I'm so excited that it's finally coming out and it's coming out in theaters. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better situation. So I can't wait for everyone to see it and it be their Halloween fall movie staple every single year to watch with their family. And you guys could follow along with my work on my Instagram and TikTok, which is Abby James Witherspoon. And you can always look at my IMDb, which is also Abby James Witherspoon.
Well, Abby, thank you again so much for your time today, talking about the film. Like I said, I'm super stoked to see this movie and I'm glad that we get to see it in theaters. I'm definitely one of those people that always, prefers the theatrical experience. If you can see a movie on the big screen with an audience, it just adds to the experience for you. So thank you so much for your time today. I can't wait to check out the film and for everyone else to watch it. And yeah, you are welcome back anytime in the future.
Thank you so much. This was so amazing. Hi, my name is Abby James Witherspoon. I play Sammy in Monster Summer, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.